In the level 3 type, there is an even more fantastic way parallel universes can form. Here's how it works. In both the level 1 and level 2 kinds, there are replica universes separated from us in the here and now by time and space. But in the level 3 parallel universe, these copies of us are right here, right now, living in the exact same space and time. They are separated from us because they're in a different dimension of this same space. And to bend our minds more, there are an infinite number of them. If true, this controversial many worlds concept has monumental consequences.
Parallel universes don't exist. Right. They're nonsense. There's something out of a Twilight Zone episode, a bad Star Trek rerun. But you forget one thing. One small quantum difference could separate me from an entirely different universe where I have multiple copies of myself leading multiple different lives. This is shocking. This even affects morals. I mean, why should I obey the law knowing that in some universe, if I commit a crime, I'm going to get away with it?
The outrageous idea comes from the strange world of quantum mechanics, the science of the atom.
In the bizarre atomic world, we have electrons that literally disappear, reappear someplace else. Electrons that could be multiple places at the same time.
This staggering quantum mechanical phenomenon is enshrined in the Heisenberg uncertainty principle.
As crazy as it sounds, not only does quantum physics tell you that a little particle can be in two places at once, but the so-called Heisenberg uncertainty principle tells you that sometime the particle even must be in two places at once.
With a laser light and a glass apple, it can be seen how light particles, or photons, do this.
This shows that photons, the little particles of light coming out of my laser, can end up in several places at once. And since we are made of little particles, that means if they can be in several places at once, so can we.
In other words, in the instant that you have a fleeting thought, your whole body makes a quantum leap into another dimension and into a parallel universe.
And what it means is that if I'm walking down the pavement and just make a snap decision as to whether I'm going to go left or right, if my decision depends on what some little particle in my brain was doing, then I will actually end up doing both. And the life of mine effectively splits into two parallel realities.
In a level 3 type parallel universe, even a cat has many more than 9 lives. The trouble is, in some of these worlds, the cat could be dead. And at the same time, in other parallel universes, the same cat can be alive and kicking.
But how? How can you have a dead cat and a live cat simultaneously? Because the universe splits in half. In one universe, we have a dead cat. In the other universe, we have a live cat. Get used to it.
What is even more shocking is that in some of these many worlds, a tiny quantum difference in thought can change the whole world.
It's like the butterfly that flaps its wing and makes the hurricane. Tiny microscopic events would change the course of history. So every historical event actually happened in every possible way in some branch of this ever-splitting many worlds universe.
In one, the Nazis won World War II.
In which case, I'm now speaking German, and there's a swastika behind me.
In another world, none of the horror ever happened.
In one universe, there's no World War II, and 50 or so million people didn't have to die.
Like the endless rolls of the dice, all possible numbers and all possible kinds of universes and outcomes will eventually turn up and occur in one of these many worlds. In fact, all our wishes too can come true in a parallel universe.
If the many worlds idea is right, then there's a branch of the universe in which the Chicago Cubs won the World Series last year.
You could imagine that the USA was still a colony of the British, for example.
Even the impossible is probable in some parallel universe. There could even be creatures coming into our world from these mysterious extra dimensions. As mind-boggling as it sounds, when it comes to the amazing world of parallel universes, anything that can happen has happened or will happen in some other universe, in some other dimension, space, and time. Quantum differences can rewrite history, creating multiple universes, each with wildly different outcomes, where anything and everything is possible. Some wars never happened. Others we never imagined did. A slight change means a comet missed. And even dinosaurs still roam some Earth somewhere. All and every one of these fantastic parallel universes occupy the same space, but are in a different dimension, and so invisible to us. Even as you peacefully watch TV, whole other invisible worlds could be raging all around you.
These parallel universes are in your living room. This means that in your living room, there are dinosaurs. You can't hear them. You can't see the dinosaurs that are rampaging throughout your living room, but they're there.
The quantum principle that creates many versions of each person can also create entire universes.
The universe, at one point, was actually smaller than an electron. If that's true, and if electrons are described by being many places at the same time in parallel states, this means that the universe also exists in parallel states. You inevitably get parallel universes. There's no choice.
But that's not all.